Every time a woman in my life decided to stop working, she went through 2 years of depression. The reason why they go through this deep darkness and sorrow is because they're analyzing. They finally have the time to analyze their life and realize what they've gone through and the things that they did to get to where they are. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Karla Eli Show. I'm your host, Karla Eli, and I'm here to guide you towards wisdom so that you may unlock a life of abundance by mastering the feminine balance. Let's get into today's Wednesday wisdom. If you are enjoying the show, please make sure to like and subscribe. I want to know your honest thoughts on the Karla Eli Show, but please, I am a sensitive soul, so be nice on the comments and in the polls and on my Spotify reviews. I am human, I do make mistakes, but I want this to be the most enjoyable experience you have with me. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about why is it that us women who have worked all our lives, who are always on the go, 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 truly on this survival mode, why is it so hard for us to accept anything else, accept a life of ease? Why is it so hard for us to let go? Is it because we are fearful that someone else is going to control our lives? Is it because it is too hard to look within ourselves, within our hearts, and connect with our bodies because we've been through life? We're going to be challenging this paradigm, and I encourage all of you to take a look in the mirror and really ask yourself, can I slow down? Should I slow down? And if the answer is yes, you need to slow down. Hopefully, by the end of today, I will give you the resources and tools for you to be able to self soothe. A common pattern that I kept on seeing within women is the woman who is a boss babe, the woman who works hard and who is a breadwinner and who's always on the go, 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 the woman who stays at home, who is a kept wife, who lives a life of ease, who takes her time. She's okay with not doing anything for one day and just being in the flow state. I kept seeing that there was friction between these two archetypes, specifically the woman who is a boss babe, kind of judging and criticizing the woman who sits back and relaxes for a little bit. I think one of the reasons why this happens is because the boss babe and the woman who's always on survival, in a way, envies the woman who can sit back and relax, because the woman who can sit back and relax understands that she has inherent worth, that she doesn't need an occupation or a job for her to be worthy. She also has systems in place like good husband, a provider man, routines where she can rest and live a life of ease. Meanwhile, a boss babe, a woman who's always on the fence of, money mindset and things like that, might not have those same systems in place the way that the woman of ease does. And this isn't to judge, right? This isn't to judge. I think we've all been a boss babe at some point. I definitely was, up until I decided to get married. I was like, you know what? I think I deserve a life of ease. And I stepped into that. But why is it so hard to make that transition of survival to actually living? It's called survival for a reason. When you're in survival mode, you either do things because you have to do things, or you act in a specific way because you are so stressed, you are seriously surviving. And because we are in survival mode, our nervous system feels that. It's constant adrenaline. It's constant like fight or flight mode. And truly, it requires about 2 to 3 years for us to be able to self-regulate again and go into a state of ease, of peace. And so, a lot of women, the reason why they say, I cannot stay at home, I need to be working, it's because they don't allow themselves to connect their mind, heart, and body. Because it is hard. It is hard to slow down and truly connect with yourself. The reason for that is because it requires you to think about all the years that you've lived. It requires to look at your past, be accountable with your actions, and either say, I did such a great job, or wow, I messed up. Why did I respond in this way? Why did I do this? That's when shame comes in, right? I'm going to be speaking about this in a personal perspective. Every time a woman in my life decided to stop working, she went through 2 years of depression. Stepped out of work to take care of the family and to be a homemaker, complete darkness. The reason why they go through this deep darkness and sorrow is because they're analyzing. They finally have the time to analyze their life and realize what they've gone through and the things that they did to get to where they are. And it goes both ways, not just women, but with men too. Finally, when men have stability in their life and they're happy in their career and stuff like that, it hits you hard. And it's a hard process. It's such a hard process because you realize how dysregulated you are and you realize all of the mistakes that you did in the past and you, in a way, want to go back, or you barely process the things that you got away from. And you go from being a survivor to a successor. That's a lot to take in. Because imagine if you've been working for about 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, and finally you're in a position where you don't have to work as hard or as much, and you have time to think and sit. That's so much information to take in all at once. Because then you start having flashbacks, right? And most of the time, if you do not have a support system to help you and guide you through this process, this temporary process of regulating yourself again, the first thing you're going to want to do is go back to work. That is why a lot of women think that they cannot be in the home. That's why a lot of women think, no, I'd much rather work than to stay at home, because they're not allowing themselves to connect with their bodies and their minds and their hearts. Because, like it or not, being in survival mode is a defense mechanism. It is. It's a coping mechanism for all the trauma, all the things that we've gone through. We'd much rather be focused on doing something else rather than reflecting, because that's so much harder and so much more painful. I will be completely honest with you. Whenever my husband gave me the opportunity to either stay home or work, I decided to work. Because truthfully, I would go crazy being at home. And once I realized this pattern, I was like, it's admirable for women who are capable and allow themselves to sit within themselves and analyze all the things that they've gone through and live a life of ease. Now I'm comfortable living a life of ease, and I found the perfect balance for me. Because I'm here talking to all of you and I do mentorship and I build community, but I'm still in the home, and it is beautiful and it is wonderful. That's why I'm so big on creating that feminine balance, because there's a balance. Right now that I'm young, I want to be working and I want to be doing all of these things, but I know myself. I know that in the future, the only thing that I want to worry about is my children, my family. And after that phase, I already have other projects in mind that I want to do. But I want to enjoy every single chapter of my life. And the only way that I can do that is by being conscientious of where I am, by connecting with my body, and by allowing myself to process all the things that I went through before getting to this point. And I realized now that I'm not surviving, because at some point I was, we've all been there. Now that I'm not surviving and I'm actually living, oh my gosh, life is just so much sweeter. I can give more. I can give fully. I can connect with people on a different level. And it's such a beautiful thing. But in order to get there, you have to allow yourself to be in that sorrow. You have to allow yourself to truly connect with the person that you were years ago, and connect with your body and listen to your body. Listen to that voice, that chaos inside of you, and say, I decide to let you go. I decide that I want a life of ease. And in order to do that, I have to process all the things that I went through. And it cannot be on the go, go, go all the time. It's okay that I messed up. It's okay But now it's time to deal with the consequences. Now it's time to step into our feminine balance. Now it's time to take care of me again. So if you are someone who's always on the go, 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 I ask you to stop for a second. I ask you to like meditate on this for a second and think about it. Who is benefiting from you being on the go, go, go all the time? Who benefits from this? Because mind you, when we are pure chaos, when we are always thinking and doing, we're too busy doing, we don't allow ourselves to be. And when we are consistently busy, overworking ourselves, burning ourselves out, we don't have enough time to dedicate conversations with our Father in heaven. And that's when we miss the clarity, the decision making. That's when we don't know which decisions we need to make because we're not allowing ourselves to connect with our bodies or with our Father in heaven. We're not allowing Him to give us the answers that we've been looking for. And like I said, it's a 2-year process from going to surviving to living, and it is hard. It is so hard. But if you're in that process now, just know that it's going to get better soon. It's hard. It's hard giving yourself that grace and that compassion to say, yes, I did this, but that's okay. I learned from it. Or slow yourself down. It is so hard to slow life down because of the technology that is around us all the time, right? That everything is going so fast all around us, but we don't have to keep up with it. We were actually not designed to keep up with the speed of light, by the way. And that's what we're asking our bodies to do. So I encourage you every day, try to connect with your body. Ask yourself how you're doing. Every morning, check in with yourself and allow yourself to connect with your heart, your mind, and your body. Recap. The reason why it is so hard for us to let go of survival and step into living is because that would require us to look at our past, reflect, and be self aware. That is so much harder than not thinking about our actions and dealing with the consequences. It takes approximately 2 years for you to regulate once more. The way that you can step into regulating your nervous system is by having at least 1 hour a day to yourself, where you're dedicating it to having conversations with your Father in heaven, having father and daughter time, reading scripture, exercising, or sitting in silence and really listening to your body, where your body is hurting, what you need to heal. Meditate on your thoughts. And if you're someone who has a really hard time just sitting still, I recommend for you to download the app Otter and speak to Otter and see what flows from you. Have your own one-on-one therapy session with yourself. It is so healing. And slow down. You do not need to catch up to the speed of light. It is impossible. And that's what we're asking our bodies to do. And our bodies are tired. Our bodies need to rest. And with that being said, ladies, be wise.